What's up, B2? Capital G here, talking about the Yusei Fudo and Jaden Yuki Megatins. A lot of people have been excited for these tins for quite some time, basically since Konami revealed that not only some of the promo cards were going to be amazing, like Evenly Match and Saryuja Skull Dread, Borlo Dragon, etc., but that we were also going to be getting brand new, synchros and brand new fusion monsters for Jaden. And people were obviously a little nostalgic because these are some of the best Yu-Gi-Oh animated series and people are big fans of the characters. We're going to talk about the promos that are in these tins because these tins are like right around the corner. Don't they come out like next week? So people want to know what the heck is inside of here, so I know how many of them I'm going to pick up. Now, there were some crazy rumors posted online. Some of them spilled over to like Facebook, and people were like, yo man, my mother's sister's cousin's uncle's dog's watcher, he works for Konami, and he confirmed that Needle Fiber is in here, Fight for Patrick is in here, Cherubini of the Burning Abyss is in here, Aromatherapy Jasmine, all them good cards are in here. Unfortunately, none of those cards are in here as far as I can tell, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization did actually get the skinny on this product, and we do know about the brand new Synchro and Fusion monsters for Jaden and Yusei, as well as a bunch of the OCG imports. Unfortunately, none of the Link Frames cards are in there. Also, Fight for Patchwork. I don't think any of those cards would have honestly made a lot of sense. Maybe, like Needle Fiber for Yusei, because it kind of like works with Synchro Summoning. But he has his own Link monster, which is actually in here. So let's go ahead and break down the brand new cards, and then we'll talk about the OCG imports. Now, I'm doing the video like this because we don't actually have pictures of the new cards as of right now, as far as I can tell. So, unfortunately, it's just not, there aren't any pictures posted on YGO.org. The first one is it's Jaden's new card. It's a Neos alias fusion monster. It's called Elemental Hero Nebula Neos, level 9 Earth Warrior monster. It's a fusion, of course, because it's Jaden. 3,000 attack, 2,500 defense. The materials are, to say outdated is to keep it kind. It requires Elemental Hero Neos, the super old one from Season 3 of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. It requires Grand Mole and Dark Panther. Now, Grand Mole is still actually good by today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Standards, but Dark Panther, man, people haven't ran that card competitively pretty much since, like, the Glad format, because you could use it to, like, copy your opponent Terraclinos, and you could use it to do a whole bunch of other things. I think it copies the name too, so you could copy your opponent's bestiary if they randomly had that on the field or something like that. Now, this is a contact fusion as I expected it to be. It says first must be special summoned from your extra deck by shuffling the above cards you control into your deck. You do not use polymerization, so that means it's a contact fusion. That's kind of cool, but at the same time, like, Neos Alias is like, what is he, level 7, level 8? He's not exactly the easiest thing to get on the field. He's also a vanilla, so a lot of times you don't want to expend the resources to put him on the field either. It says, if this card is special summoned from the extra deck, draw cards equal to the number of cards your opponent controls, then negate the effects of one face-up card on the field into the end of this turn. It goes on to say, once per turn during the imp phase, shuffle this card into the extra deck, and if you do, banish all cards on the field face down. There's a lot to take in there. And I think that its first effect, where when you summon it, you get the draw cards equivalent to how many cards your opponent controls. I actually think that that's quite good because, let's be real, most of the time that you summon a boss monster, your opponent's going to have at least a couple cards on the field, whether it's like one back row and a monster, or maybe they'll have like a couple of monsters. Best case scenario, maybe you get this guy on the field when your opponent has like 3 monsters and something like a field spell. You'd be drawing 4 cards. Like, that's absolutely amazing, and it definitely helps kind of mitigate how much you have to put in to summon this. I also like the kind of Fiendish Chain effect, or basically like an effect veiler to negate a one face-up card on the field. That does not target, by the way. That's actually quite good. My biggest beef with this card, other than the summoning conditions, which I guess I could kind of look past, is really its last effect. It's the fact that, much like a lot of the other Neos cards and a lot of the other fusions that Jaden played, basically all his contact fusions, this card shuffles itself back into the deck, and I don't like that. Now, I will say that it does banish potentially everything your opponent has on their side of the field, but it also banishes your stuff, so just make sure you don't really set anything on your side of the field because it's going to get banished face down a la Pot of Desires. Overall, I mean, it's kind of like a fun card. It has a really high ceiling, I'll give it that, but I really just don't like that it tags back in. Like, I would have rather it just didn't have that last effect at all. I don't need to banish all my opponent's stuff. I just want to be able to keep my 3000 beater that I just invested 3 monsters in, and one of them is like a level 8 monster, but overall, it's an okay card. I think that Junk Speeder, this card I think can actually be exploitable. So Junk Speeder, this is Yusei's new synchro monster, level 5 Wind Warrior synchro monster, 1800 attack, 1000 defense. The materials are 1 synchron tuner plus 1 non-tuner monster. Okay, that's really not that difficult. It seems like every synchro deck since the beginning of time has been trying to summon Formula Synchron since that card came out. So, Formula Synchron obviously can go into this, and there's a bunch of other, synchro tuners out there. It says if this card is special summon, you can special summon as many synchron tuners as possible with different levels from your deck in defense position. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my god, there has to be a huge catch, because basically you're saying that you can summon up to 5 monsters. And as I've said before, when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh, just about every card that lets you summon 5 monsters at once, whether it be Dimension Fusion, Rekindling, Return from the Different Dimension, Soul Charge, a lot of those cards end up being broken. But it does say you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except synchro monsters the turn you activate that effect. Okay, so that is obvious. Konami knows that you would link spam the fuck out of those 5 potential monsters that you were going to summon. If you resolve this effect, you'd basically have 6 monsters on the field, and you can still do that. You just, you can only synchro summon for the rest of the turn. It says when an attack when an attack is declared involving this card that was synchro summoned this turn and another monster, you can make this card's attack become double its original attack until the end of the turn. You can only use each effect of Junk Speeder once per turn. Okay, so I think that this effect is quite impressive. Again, anytime that you can potentially summon 5 monsters just by one effect, that's pretty damn good, especially when you don't got to pay any life points or basically pay anything. And there are a lot of good tuner synchron monsters that people play. There's like Quick Draw Synchron, there's Junk Synchron, Unknown Synchron, saw a little bit of play back in the day of like, the Junk Synchron type decks and whatnot. Also, the fact is, if this card attacks, the turn that you synchro summon it, it can jump up to 3600 attack. So this card can actually be a pretty significant beater. I mean, being able to take down a Borlo Dragon with an 1800 attack monster, that's pretty fucking legitimate. So, other cards that have been imported, I think I have every single one of them loaded up, and we'll just kind of quickly go through them. The first is E-Hero Solid Man, which has had its name changed, but this card is one that Hero players are definitely looking forward to. I mean, essentially, anytime Hero players get new support, as long as it's legitimate, I think that they always will embrace it. They'll usually bring up Stratos, but this card is fantastic. At first, when I looked at it, I was like, I don't really know if it's all that good. At the worst, it's kind of like a better version of like 10 Goldfish and Goblinberg. I would probably say more like Goblinberg because it is searchable by Rhoda and it's searchable by like Emergency Call. But then I actually played against this a while back on my stream. This card is actually quite ridiculous. The fact that it can trigger your Shadow Mist from your hand makes it really, really good. So this is a solid card. I think Hero decks generally play like 1 to 2 copies of this, again, because, a lot of the cards are searchable. We got this guy right here. Mud Dragon of the Swamp. This is an interesting card. I mean, you summon it with 2 monsters with the same attribute but different types. So it is an instant fusion target. I thought that was the most notable thing about it. It can change its attribute if I'm not mistaken. It says your opponent cannot target monsters on the field with the same attribute of this card. Once per turn, you can declare 1 attribute. This card becomes that attribute until the end of the turn. Yeah, so this card can like manually change its attribute, which is kind of cool. I mean, this card, man, if this card would have came out in Master Rule 4, the instant fusion plays and like Totally Heroes would have been so ridiculously good. In case you're like, I don't know, maybe, Norden was like banned after that, but you still would have been able to use this to go into like Bahamut Shark with heroes off of, Bubble Man and whatnot. So we also have Junk Collector. This is a card people have been waiting for a very long time. Now, I know that there are probably some good applications, but I'm gonna be real. The only application that I know of for this card is to use it with Magical Explosion. Junk Collector lets you banish this card, and then you get to target a normal trap card. And if it meets its activation conditions, you get to activate the effect of that trap card. So basically, you play it in like a 60-card deck. The whole deck is nothing but spells, Magical Explosion, and like 2 monsters, and you reasoning, and you get your entire deck into the graveyard. There's also like Monster Gate, and you get Junk Collector on the field by special summoning it. And if your opponent doesn't have like a Fat Veiler, they basically just lose. You only need, what, 20 cards in the graveyard in your Explosion? And Explosion is still limited in the TCG. It's banned in the OCG, but we can still pull that shit off in the TCG. Then we have Arcana Extra Joker. This card's okay. I thought that it could have been maybe splashable in like 6 Samurai because its summoning condition is 3 warrior monsters with different names. Samurai doesn't, they don't have their own Link monster right now. If you open up with Gateway, you get to put a billion like 6 Sams on the field. Anyways, its effect is basically like a watered down version of Ultimate and Providence. It kind of has the same type of requirement where if your opponent activates a spell, trap, or a monster effect, you get to negate by discarding that same type of card, but the card has to specifically target either the Joker or another monster. And then its kind of floating ability isn't that good because it floats into a normal warrior monster, and that's just kind of no 6 Samurai players running any like level 4 normal warrior monsters. Now you do get the Rhoda, you get to actually get a level 4 warrior monster, but that is only if you search or only if you special summon the vanilla warrior monster. So I don't know, I feel like it's just kind of a fan card, to be honest. We have Keeper of Dragonic Magic. This card is actually very legitimate. When this card is normal or special summon, you get to discard a card, then you can either add Polymerization or you get a normal fusion spell, which is pretty good because, think of like Brilliant Fusion. No, wait, Brilliant Fusion is continuous. I'm trolling. You can get Instant Fusion. There's the example that I want to go with. Also, you can reveal a monster from your extra deck. I think it has to be a fusion monster, and you can special summon one of its materials in face down defense position. So I was like, I guess maybe Dark Magician could use it because you could summon like a Dark Magician back by revealing the Dark Magician Knight from your graveyard. We have a new Stardust Synchro monster coming to the TCG, Stardust Assault Warrior. It's okay. It does let you summon back a junk monster from your graveyard, which actually transitions really nice into this guy because you can summon your junk Link back from the graveyard. Overall, I kind of feel like Stardust Charge Warrior is a little better than this card. They're both level 6. This card, I used to think, I was like, I don't really understand how to use this card. It lets you go into like Junk Warrior and whatnot, but then a ways back when somebody sent me these duels with Despots and they exploited the hell out of Junk Connectors. So this card actually does have a little bit of potential. If you're looking to build a new age Yusei Fudo deck, definitely go watch my excellent adventures of Yusei Fudo's one-shot junk bots. Pretty good. And then the final card is 10 Musical Battle Mech, which the name in the TCG is something really, really strange. They like completely changed the name. So yeah, in the TCG it's called Martial Metal Marcher. So yeah, definitely a lot of M's. It's okay. Basically, it's a decent level 3 synchro. And Yu-Gi-Oh! You'd be surprised how many like level 3 synchros there are that are good. There are not that many. Basically, you can kind of count them on one hand. This guy does let you special summon a tuner from your graveyard. Its effects are negated, but you can still use it for like link summoning and do whatever else you want to be used for it. So what do you guys think of the promos, and are you going to pick this up? I feel like just what I see, I don't know, I really like Yusei's setup because his new card is good. I think his Link monster is good. I think that some of his support is good, but at the same time, like Solid Man is definitely going to be like a chase card because it significantly helps heroes a lot. But whatever you guys think, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.